This program is brought to you by Pussy Magnets.
Put a ninja on your friends with a pussy magnet.
Welcome, welcome, my lovely lumps. Or maybe let's go with lovely labs. That's pretty on brand. Anyway, I'm so thrilled to have you here in the Labia Lounge. We're going to be yarning about all things sexuality, intimacy, womanhood, relating, holistic health, and everything in between. We're going to have vag loads of real chats with real people about real shit. So buckle up because you're about to receive the sex ed that you never had and hopefully have a bit of a chuckle while you're at it. Before we get stuck in, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. It's a massive privilege to be living and creating dope podcast content in Naarm, and I just want to pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Now, if you're ready, let's flap and do this.
Don't panic, you're not broken. Your sex education was a piece of shit. Get your flaps out and pull up the couch. It's the Labia Lounge.
So, this episode is another kind of informal Tub Talks-esque sort of episode. If you're new to the podcast, usually I interview guest experts on a specific topic, and then occasionally I'll set up the Labia Lounge at an event or a festival, and I'll interview the guests and turn that into an episode. And then finally, this type of format, which is where I just sit and have a yarn with a friend of mine. So no expert interview, but just an informal and fascinating and real and raw chat about real and raw things. Generally, I won't bother with these chats to turn it into an episode if it doesn't feel relatable and potentially valuable for listeners. This episode is a beautiful chat with a friend of mine who talks about how he struggled with for years and then has overcome challenges with premature ejaculation and performance anxiety and confidence in the bedroom as a man. It's a really candid chat. There's some practical tips and strategies that have worked for him to overcome this. And then at the end of the chat, there's also a section where the conversation diverges to his journey with potentially having a type of OCD and his ADHD diagnosis. So a couple of pretty unrelated topics going on in this one, but both quite relatable to a certain demographic, I'm sure. And then in the middle, I've actually got an old recording that I just never really found anywhere to put. I'd forgotten about it, actually. It's a recording where I got TMI stories from a guy who came up to the Labia Lounge couch when we set up in Edinburgh Gardens. One sunny weekend, me and my friend Hannah just set up the Labia Lounge to have some chats in Eddie Gardens in Fitzroy North, and we just had some signs and had the pussy couch, and a guy actually wandered over and asked what it was about, and so we had a chat with him and I recorded some pretty funny stories from him, and so I've popped those in the middle as like a little TMI segment. So there's a few things in here. It's a really great episode. I hope you enjoy it. And while I've got you, I also want to plug a product, Captain Spice Chai. If you've listened to this potty for a while, you will know that I am an absolute slut for a sticky chai, a good extra hot soy chai latte. That is my poison of choice. And I've become a little bit of a snob, a little bit of a connoisseur for sticky chai. So it's pretty cool that I think this is actually my first, I guess you could say, official sponsor of the podcast. They've sent me some free sticky chai, and it's fucking great. I want to plug their stuff because I love supporting local family-owned business. It's a small family business. It's handcrafted, made in the Macedon Ranges, so in Victoria where I grew up. It's gluten-free and vegan, and they use coconut sugar, which I'm partial to because, you know, out of all of the sort of sweeteners, it's probably one of the more health-conscious, natural ways to make things sweet. They do wholesale to cafes. You can also buy their products online. They use 100% whole spices, no powders, nothing like that. It's all house roasted and ground. And And I highly recommend you going and checking out their chai. I'll put the link to their website in the show notes. Thank you so much, Captain Spice, for your delightful chai and also for being such a treat to work with. You know, I don't know, just allow me to digress for a second, everyone, but it can be really hard to form relationships online, especially business to business, through like email correspondence. You know, it's difficult to feel the other human at the end of the computer. And I've just actually had a really lovely time chatting with the people over at Captain Spice. Every email feels like, oh, I'm actually interfacing with a real human here. And we're both on missions with our own small businesses. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed starting to get to know them and forming a business relationship. So if that sways you at all, I can vouch for them being legends. Anyway, that's it from me. Check out Captain Spice Chai, and I'll let you get into the episode now.
Did you get that?
No, it wasn't even a good one. It was a shit. I've burped and farted on this podcast before. One time I laughed. I was down in the backyard with Georgie, my housemate, and I like laughed and farted. Like it pushed a fart out of me, and I was like, oh my God.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's a great time. All right, talk.
Hello.
All right, good stuff.
Hi, guys.
Okay, what you got for me?
Welcome to the Labia Lounge podcast. Episode 400.
Whoa.
there were a lot there.
Settle down. I've
You've
got
been doing this for a while,
175 or something. Yeah, I've been doing it. I'm in my like 5th year this year, which is very fresh, but yeah, 5th season.
Still 5 years of doing anything, I feel like. They say it's only 2 days to build a habit, so...
Yeah. Well, I find it so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important part about doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like it's all play. Like that's what.
Especially when I get to do these episodes with friends, and it's like it's in person. We're just chilling on the deck. It's like, yeah, very relaxing compared to like interview format.
Yeah.
You know, and on that note, I have no questions for you, like nothing. I don't even know what we're about to talk about, honestly, because I've already forgotten what you just said. But like,
That's
I remember on the dance floor,
we'll get there.
We had some serious ammunition for an episode, and I was like, let's do it.
That's the best place to have those ideas. It's a shame it's so loud. You just sit there yelling over the music.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah. Did you find it? You mentioned that you find it fun. Did you find it fun when you started doing it, or was it something that you had to like push through to sort of build as a part of your current lifestyle?
I love podcasts, and I already had been listening to podcasts for years and always thought, even like back when, you know, talk radio, like Hamish and Andy vibes, like when I was a kid listening to that, I was always like, that is the best job I can imagine. Like that's so fun. I just want to fucking talk and be funny. So like it was always something that appealed to me, and it was fun from the start, but way more nerve wracking. Like I was I was nervous. It was very vulnerable. It was very like scary to put myself out there like that and talk about sex and put it online and release a thing and be like, this is my product. It's called the Labia Lounge. Please listen to it. Like, holy shit. Yeah. Plus like speaking to experts in the industry that I've never met, that I respect, like that was a bit daunting and intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'd get like a guest that I would have like read their book and like followed their work for ages, and I'd be like, holy shit, like I've got to do a good job of this. Oh my God.
That is a pretty funny concept, because I feel like a part of it would be like comparative nervousness of like, oh my God, they're like established, I don't want to waste their time. But then also on top of that, think of it this way, if someone came up to you and like said, oh my God, you run the Labia Lounge podcast, I've been listening to you forever, can I do a shit hour interview? I just want to talk to you for some reason. Like you're going to be like, oh my God, yes, like please, like I'd love to do that for you. Like, you know, there's a part of that like from the other side, I reckon.
Well, I think though, like once people get to a certain level of celebrity or success, or just like if they have a massive following, like, you know, these people have managers, they have like a VA that sorts out their scheduling, like they're not necessarily, they're quite time poor, you know, like they don't necessarily want to like dish out their wisdom and have people pick their brains for free all the time. Like, Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, obviously people that agreed to be on it saw some benefit and had fun with it too. I try to make it fun for people as guests as well. And obviously, like, it's a reciprocal thing. Like, I spruik their work. It's good exposure for them and stuff. But, like, yeah, I mean, I'm such a tiny little small fry podcast that, like, I'm sure there's definitely people that, yeah, would be like, no thanks. I've got bigger fish to fry. Like, that's not worth my time.
Yeah.
And that would be fair enough.
I feel like your genuity, which is a word I might have just made.
Genuity?
Yeah.
Like genuineness?
It's like,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm an avid word maker upper.
Genuity sounds like it should be a word.
That's what I mean.
It's like ingenuity, which is not
that's what I mean.
It's a different word, yeah.
So I'll be making some up.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Oxford.
Yeah, but like people don't know how genuine I am because they've never met me and I'm just trying to fucking pitch them to be on this podcast via email, you know? Like that's a tricky thing to actually get through to, especially the bigger the guest, the more popular they are or whatever, the harder it is to actually, well, for them to even read it themselves personally is like a hurdle. Yeah. Most of them have. Yeah, they don't read their own emails. God.
PA, give me the cliff notes on everything they've ever talked about sort of thing. So.
Well, even just getting people to agree to be on the podcast sometimes is tricky because, yeah, like why is it worth, they would get so many offers and pitches and it's like they have to pick and choose the ones that are going to be best for their brand with the largest reach. And I can't offer that, but I can offer a fun time. And, you know, people get to be on a podcast called the Labia Lounge, which is pretty fun. Some people that's a deterrent and they don't want to be attached to that, but whatever. Yeah. Well, what do you want to talk about?
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, no, the pressure's on. Where do I start? Well, I mean, lots of work has gone into it over the past few years, but like I grew up. And I don't know if this is like an impact of like online dating, you know, as I was a developing young man, or I guess just my mental complexity. But I always struggled with like talking to people and conversing because I was always so preoccupied with thinking about what the correct question was to ask next. And it turns out that being a good conversationalist is being a good listener.
Yeah, and asking good questions.
Yeah, that's totally. And like the online dating side of it is like, you know, glad to be no longer a part of that world, but
lucky you, must be nice.
Yeah, sorry, such a flex out. But yeah, just the experience of it as someone that was like it would take me 2 hours to form a response just because it had to be like I was just taking all of this context and I was trying to figure out what it was, or even just like, you know, the opening line. It's like, you've got one shot, you fuck this up, just mark this one off. Like all of those, I guess, things that went into just general interactions that I had with people.
Wow.
I always looked at
stressful.
I always looked at radio show hosts and like talk show hosts and stuff, and I was just like, how the flaming F are they talking for so long? Almost one way
just
as well.
On the fly.
Yeah, just whatever it was. And I was just like, I was always like so in awe of like just that ability. And then it turns out you just have to care less.
You just have to care less, 100%.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not even care less because you actually give more in that sense, wherein perfectionism.
Yeah.
One of the...
You have to care less what people think of you.
Yeah.
You still care about people. But you have to give less fucks, for sure. You just got to be more comfortable in yourself and like less insecure and self-conscious to be able to just blah, 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 blah.
I think the care less part sits somewhere on you have to care less of their perception of you or like their ideology of you. Because when you're doing that, you're fabricating the version you're giving them. And like...
You're curating their experience.
So you're like...
It's not authentic. It's very much like run through like multiple filters. Yeah. I'm big on not doing that. But it's hard. I can't remember like when we're at the festival, I feel like you're talking about your experience with confidence in the bedroom or with data. I can't remember. And you were like, I've been on a massive journey with that and with confidence within myself. Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I'll segue from what we were talking about just previously around sort of being this person for everyone rather than being yourself. Like, it's a lot of pressure. And I think when pressure is involved in self-confidence, then you get, like, it's really detrimental. Growing up, you know, early experiences with, like, sexuality or, like, you know, developing body, you know, starting to realize or feel things that are new, and then an early, I guess, like, whack across the back of the head for that from my Christian parents. Just like finding a few search terms on an internet browser when curiosity started to strike, and then just like saying that, you know, I never want to see that again. You shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong and stuff. So yeah, just like real kicker from the start, you know. So like that in itself is an envelope of shame.
And so, like, how old were you? Was that like a family computer in the home and they like saw that you'd searched up porn or something?
Yeah.
And they responded pretty badly.
Well, they responded. That's...
Sounds like they responded pretty badly if it turned into an envelope of shame.
Well, yeah, you could say that, but it was also their inclination to respond that way from their own experience. So
I'm not saying it was their fault. I'm still saying it was a poor reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how things started. Anyway, want to skip a few, I guess, like that that developed. Sorry, please pardon me.
Bit of ASMR while you eat some grapes.
Minecraft, food eating noises. Yeah, so I guess that sort of like kicked off this journey of like hiding it, or like, you know, in the case of it being wrong, not getting caught. And how do you not get caught? You do it quicker. And what happens when you practice doing something quicker? It ends up being really quick when...
Yep, when you're with someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you train your body into like being quite efficient, and it's like what's the term when it comes to like...
Muscle memory?
Like it's like a gun term maybe? Like quick fire, no... Quick release. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, well, effectively, yes, the trigger would get pulled very quickly.
Yeah.
That
pretty
was
common.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. It's from the perspective of a adolescent boy growing up in the early 2000s with the internet. It's like it's not common. You know, there's not ads on the radio saying you're fine just how you are. There's ads on the radio saying, only lasting a few seconds in bed.
Oh,
a loser. Like, that's the,
Yeah, it was common as fuck, but you didn't know it was common.
Yeah, you know, there was, like, nasal sprays and, like, for pills and, like, all this stuff. And, like, that's all the information that you get out of that. Like, I remember, like, sexual education at school was learning, like, almost... The only topic that we touched on during health and PE was, hey guys, here's sexual education. If you don't use a condom, then you'll get pregnant. And now we're going to spend 2 weeks making a presentation on one of the sexually transmitted diseases. And you got to pick one, and then you got to do a PowerPoint presentation on it.
Oh, jeez. To the class.
Don't have sex. Because you will get pregnant and die. Don't have sex in the missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it. Promise?
That was all of it. So, you know, there's one element of it. Obviously, being put in the position I was, there wasn't any of that education at home. Yeah. There was, don't get someone pregnant, full stop. Anyway, have fun living your life. And then it came to me and the results of that environment that I was raised in. And I avoided like just intimacy like the plague, because like it wasn't even a matter like, and again, obviously there are more parts to that of, you know, perfectionism and whatnot, curating the person that I am for other people. That wasn't something that I had much control over. Like I couldn't fabricate someone that had, you know, sexual confidence or that could last longer. It was just like...
It's vulnerable as fuck. You can't hide. It's like... Yeah.
Yeah, so there was, you know, one surefire solution, and that was to like avoid it. So I just
Whoa, Volcel,
huh?
voluntarily celibate. Volcel.
Yeah.
So like, how long did that go on for? And like, what, like, did you have opportunities to be intimate and it was too scary and you just sort of backed away from that, or like, how did you overcome it?
So overcome. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, there were experiences early on which, you know, kept driving in the fact that it was a problem in that sense, where it's like, you know, be at a party and then like, you know, hook up with someone and then like just, oh, sorry, you've touched a sensitive area. Let me just waddle away and not come back, or like just
so
be
like
shame and stuff.
You'd like made out with someone and then came in your pants, and then it was, is that what you mean?
Or like, yeah, it was like a progressed to like touch, and then the second touch started, the brain just goes like fire every signal, and then it just happens, you know, because that's what it was trained to do. It was like
totally
quick, watch out, like, you know.
Yeah, and even aside from the training in the way that you masturbate, it's like you would have been in such a fucking hectic sympathetic response because of like the anxiety around performance, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it's like this new experience, like this girl is touching me, oh my God. Of course, then the body is just like, evacuate, let's just fucking get it done, get out. Like nerves actually make people ejaculate way quicker when they don't want to.
Yeah.
So being nervous, being, you know, having performance anxiety, like so detrimental to like having any control over that, plus the way that you'd sort of trained your body. And this is like, I reckon almost every guy could relate to this. Like,
legitimately,
it's just almost this like really sad rite of passage. You know, it's like in American Pie, that movie. Yeah. That's like the fucking first sort of scene was like, this guy was just kissing and all of a sudden he's blown his load too early, and it's this big shameful thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's just like, haha, everybody point and laugh.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's probably like, I'd say like, you know, I don't have the statistics, so I'll try not to throw a percentage out, but so many people would have just been like, ha ha ha, yeah, ha ha, funny, like just themselves, like, inherently that's part of them is in that, then they're pointing and laughing at themselves. So so that very very rough introduction to that whole world, but it was also really funny because I was an extremely like just a desired connection. Like I've always been someone that was like about, and again, common themes, like about other people's experiences and about like conjoining those and about showing who I was, which is this like, I guess like, you know, intended, you know, nice, caring and like intimate person in a way. And then I had this thing which was just like a chain pulling me back away from that side of me as well. So it was like really conflicting, and you know, shame and conflict, two things that make that stuff really hard. But,
oh man, I know when you crave closeness and connection and intimacy and you want to explore that part of you and explore with someone else, but there's this like massive fucking barrier. Yeah. So
and I guess when it comes to the upbringing that I had, it was like sex was always at this forefront of it all as well. It was like, you know, marketing's all based on sort of hitting those parts of the brain, and, you know, the life goals or the path that was paved for me was always like, get a job, find a person, get married, have kids, like that, not necessarily saying anything other than there was a part of it that involved being intimately connected with the person. So yeah, I guess when you look forward ahead on a path, that stuff's also hard to like look at and just be like, I can't do anything about that.
Well, it's sort of like, I hear this from men a fair bit where like, you know, they're excelling in all these other areas of their life and they're confident in many ways, socially, whatever, but then when they hit the bedroom, there's this like huge anxiety and this vicious cycle that they've been in for so long that they can't really get themselves out of it. It's almost this self-fulfilling prophecy with premature ejaculation and like, or erectile dysfunction or both.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, I want to have the wife and kids. I want to do the thing and have a normal relationship or marriage or whatever. But like, how the fuck can I do that when my dick doesn't work or whatever? And like, I think one of the biggest reasons I got into this work through working on sexuality stuff for myself was because, I sort of looked at my life and into my future and I was like, shit, like I want to have a partner and I want to have a normal, relationship and that involves sex.
Yeah.
And this is just such a big barrier that I need to overcome if I want to have that lifestyle in my future. Because it was just such a big like sticking point for me and it was impacting my relationships and my ability to be close with people and like, just couldn't get over these like hang-ups and these insecurities and fears and all of this shame. And then I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like this cannot keep going. Like I won't be able to have, at the time I was like, I won't be able to have a husband or kids if I don't sort out this whole sex thing for myself. So it was a big motivator for me.
Sounds like similarly aligned to my progress through what is mentally impacting me at the moment and a desire to like dive into psychology just to like figure it out. They say they do say that we become what we need in the sense of like personality traits that people usually have at the forefront of who they are is because that they were deprived or they were lacking of that in their upbringing.
So then where are you at with it now? And like, how'd you deal with it?
Yeah, it's so sweet now. So sweet now. Like the perfectionism side that I've mentioned comes from a place of like having to be a certain way for external factors in a way. And that then aligned to being the best version of that could be. So, my approach to it was never one of really, what's the term, like dealing with the cards that I dealt. It was just a desire for it to be different. So I guess I'd just read about it. I'd read like experiences of it. I'd just like Google how to not blow my load in 2 seconds, or like I'd just find myself like curious about how I can change it. And obviously there are the quick fix ones that are like, just buy this and then just put it in your mouth and then like whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know what's in that. I would probably die. One passing evening, I was just like online and it might have been on like a subreddit or something, and someone had just like posted a link to this like almost a pamphlet. It wasn't even a book. It was like a booklet. And it was just this guy talking about how he like started his journey of repair with like Kegel exercises, like male Kegel exercises, which started off just with like practicing tensing the muscle that would stop you from peeing if you were peeing. And I was like, I took that and I just sort of run with it. And just any time that I had where I was conscious of the fact, I just spent a really, like it would have been maybe 6 months where I was almost just like training that. And I was like practicing tensing it and releasing it and tensing it and releasing it and then like holding it for longer. And then like the longer I could without it starting to like cramp up and stuff was whether it was a physical contribution or whether it was like just a mental. Because again, like I said at the start, it was all a muscle memory. The reason why was just because it was practiced a certain way. So I myself, I guess, just started to rewire that neural pathway that was random bullshit go, or like the all systems like fire at once into my, I guess, conscious efforts of control, like, muscular control to start off with. And I did that for a really, really, really long time. And while it still happened, I learned a new technique.
Yeah.
And that was right after passing the point of no return. So the male experience of like pleasure into build up into release. And it's almost just it is a 2-step process of once you have passed that point, there's no going back. Haha. But with well-trained muscles. And
did you ejaculate?
pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost an overwhelming, like, hold the door.
Yeah.
For those Game of Thrones fans out there. Shame about seasons 7 and 8 or whatever the last two were. But, yeah, no, legitimately, it was, like, just a technique that I had, not invented, but, like, it helped. It just, so build up. And at the start, it was after the few seconds that, you know, like sex or, you know, physical touch started, and it would be a matter of the second that, I mean, because you can feel it when you've kicked over that point. Yeah. Anyway, it was a matter of tensing those muscles that had been practiced and trained, and then it was like a hold, like, and I mean like that physical exercise of like holding that muscle, that is the one that if you hold, stop everything, no touching, no whispering in any ears, no nothing at all, legitimately like a stop, a tense, and just like catching your breathing, is ejaculate
well, yeah, you can
term.
sort of direct the ejaculate like sort of back inward. It's like nothing comes out of the dick, but you still kind of ejaculate, but not outwards. It just recycles back. It's like you just kink the hose. So it's got nowhere to go, and then the orgasm passes and nothing has come out because you kinked the hose with your muscles. Yeah. And you can either do it like through tensing those muscles or like holding that point with your thumb or something like.
Yeah, I did hear about like sort of pressure points that would help. But I guess I found my success through just that muscular exercise stuff. And what would happen was it would start, it would be held, and then, I mean, to my pleasure, the refractory period would kick in, but like I would maintain
an erection. Yeah.
And there'd be maybe a 30-second to a minute period of any sort of physical stimulus would then just be like, oh, nah, doors open, like, would happen. But again, like sort of like a bit of breath work and enough time passing and sensitivity was back to normal. But, sorry, not sensitivity. Like, refractory period would be kicked in to the point where it wasn't like overstimulating to be touched. It would be normal, like, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Damn, I need another term for that. I don't want to say normal, because again, I've gone through this journey of like what is normal or what isn't. It's coming to terms with that in itself. That was like, this is how it's going to be, and like this is like, if you want it to be otherwise, then do something about it. But yeah, I found this technique, and then that technique enabled me to be a little bit more of the person that I wanted to be in those situations. I could be intimate, or I could like have sex longer and not abruptly come to a stop and not be able to continue.
And then did that just give you more sort of confidence to feel more relaxed, and then being more relaxed actually helped you last longer as well, because you weren't like panicking?
I had a tool on the belt. Yeah. And when you walk into any situation more equipped, then a level of confidence is there that you didn't have before. Yeah. And that was the kicker. That was the thing that started it for me in a way. And that was, as like between then and now, it's only improved more. And then that makes me question how much of it is mental. How much of it is physical. I mean, they both in tandem absolutely are two pieces of the one whole sort of thing. Yeah. So I guess But
I think you're right, like having the physical tool on the belt and like exercising those muscles and feeling more in control of those muscles would have given you the peace of mind and the confidence to then feel more relaxed in those environments, and the relaxation actually helps you last longer. Yeah. And then the mental component of it is like eased.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to improving both the mental or the physical elements, they're both done in really different ways in a way. Like the mental almost always has say over it, almost being a very integral part of that sentence. But physical is trained through repetition, mental is trained through experience.
And also repetition of experience.
Yeah.
And just proving to yourself, you know, that it doesn't always have to follow the same trajectory that it has in the past. Like if you're so used to, like if you are so preoccupied with the thought of like, fuck, I'm going to blow my load early. It's going to be disempowering. It's going to be embarrassing. I'm going to feel shame. She's going to be let down, blah, blah, blah. This whole sort of vicious spiral of like internal chatter is like so fucking detrimental for your ability to, one, be present and even enjoy sex, and two, to last a period of time that you're happy with and that you feel confident about. So like, yeah, there's so much to it, but like something you said about, you know, being a perfectionist and curating people's experience of you. Yeah. It's funny because like, you know, in the bedroom, so many people are just performing sex on each other. They're not actually like having sex and like lovemaking. They're not collaborating and co-creating. They're just like doing sex on the other person.
That's one of my favorite memes on the internet is like, it's just like doing sex at someone. Like, it's like the terminology of it just tickled me, something fancy.
Because that's what's fucking happening so much of the time. Yeah. And like the thing that people don't realize, like I work with a lot of men who experience difficulties with these things. Yeah. And like a lot of them are perfectionists. Yeah. A lot. And if you're a perfectionist and you're like highly strung around things and you want it to be perfect the first time and, you know, a certain way, that's so much pressure and expectation that you're putting on yourself, which takes you out of the moment, takes you away from being able to relax into the, you know, sensations and be present and enjoy connection and intimacy. It's all of a sudden about like your performance and what the other person's going to think of that performance and what you're going to think of that performance and what that means about you or your masculinity. And it's like, whoa, let's just strip this fucking back here. Like this is about pleasure and connection. Yeah. And perfectionism has no fucking place in the bedroom. Yeah. It's the biggest killer, honestly. Yeah. Yeah.
I think stripping it back as well, it's like if you like we're doing anything else. Like we'll strip sex out of the example. It's just like if you were, having a conversation with someone, or if you were like out at the shops with someone, or if you were doing anything with another person and all they were doing was like just thinking about something else, like thinking about whatever it is, it's like plaguing them, whatever. It's like, you're going to feel that. You're going to be like, oh, like, you know, something's wrong, or like blah, blah, blah. It's like, I just feel like sex amplifies that. And,
yeah, totally. Totally. And we make it mean so many things that it really shouldn't. And that's not our fault that we do that. Like the way we've been sort of socialized and conditioned really sets us up for failure, you know, in the bedroom in so many different ways. But like one thing that's just super fucking annoying is like how phallocentric mainstream sex is, and that it's very much about the penis. It's about how
long how long it lasts.
Yeah, how hard it is. Like, and if you're like operating from that blueprint around sex being mostly about the penis and its performance and the penis's pleasure, it's like, what the like, of course, like there's so much pressure on like one body part and on one party. And like, actually, if we weren't so obsessed with penetration and penetrative sex, like, there are so many fucking things you can do that don't involve penetration or don't involve a penis at all. And it's like, if we were actually seeing sex in a more like holistic, diverse way with all this stuff that's considered quote unquote foreplay, which I prefer it to be called foreplay, because like it's sort of bullshit that that's considered like an entree to the main event, which is penetrative sex, which is all about the penis's pleasure and ejaculation. It's like, yeah, imagine how, firstly, how much better sex everyone would be having, but like how much that would take the pressure off the person with a penis. Because like everyone that I work with that comes before they want to come, right, or can't get an erection reliably, they just think it is the fucking end of the world and no one's going to want to fuck them, and they're so insecure about it, understandably, given how we've been taught to think about this stuff. But like, I'm just like, okay, so like, what do you do when it happens? And it's like, oh, sex is just over, and I sulk, and I feel I spiral. Yeah. I spiral, and then,
well, it bleeds into who I am and my self-worth as a person, et cetera, and then everything else just starts to be shit too. Yeah.
The session's done. And I'm like, oh, cause like, you know, like there's like so many other things you could be exploring when it comes to pleasure and bodies and touch, you know, in the realms of sexual intimacy that
don't require your penis. So like kind of get over it. Like can we just like take the pressure off that?
Well, yeah.
So that like because it's like, sure, you have this tool in your tool belt of like Kegels. Cool. What if like the tools in the tool belt were like oral and massage and like really hot makeouts and like amazing communication and like there's so many things that like we should be focusing on, but like men are taught that it's all about their dick.
Yeah.
And if they can't make their dick work, then they're not a real man and everyone's going to be like super fucking embarrassed for them and grossed out by them. And it's like, what the fuck? Like a woman, if you were with someone and you know, you couldn't rely on your dick to perform on cue in the way that you wanted, she wouldn't even fucking notice if you were doing like all this other shit, like massaging and fingering and oral sex and making out and like talking and laughing and being playful, like actually exploring presence with each other and intimacy. It's like, who fucking cares? Like,
no, that's it. And
it's crazy.
Like,
Hey, baby babes. Sorry to interrupt. I just had to pop my head into the lounge here and mention another virtual lounge that I'd love you to get around. It's the Labia Lounge Facebook group that I've created for listeners of the poddy to mingle in. There you'll find extra bits and bobs like freebies, behind the scenes, or discounts for offerings from guests who have been interviewed on the podcast. There'll also be, hopefully, inspiring, thought-provoking conversations and support from a community of labial legends like yourself. My vision for this is that it becomes a really supportive, educational and hilarious resource for you to have more access to me and a safe space to ask questions you can't ask anywhere else. So head over to the links in the show notes or look up the Labia Lounge group in Facebook and I'll see you in there. And now, back to the episode.
It's a matter of like equipping yourself with supplementary ability, because then it's like what was the end result? And the end result was always giving the other person an experience that they'd want to have, and like that was like the basis of it. So yeah, no, absolutely, like time and effort goes into like, okay, how do I do that? Because I can't do it in this one certain way, and like having that, I guess, mindset going into it was like learning. I mean, I've always like, I've never been greedy. I mean, in a way that, you know, always thinking of the other person's experience and how to better it. And yeah, when it comes to sort of taking that and then equipping myself with what I needed to, it was like, yeah, just like figure out other ways to get the job done.
Just other avenues, yeah.
I read this book called She Comes First.
Oh yeah, that's all about oral sex.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, that was it. It was just a matter of about equipping myself with everything that I could to like fulfill this desire that I had for their desire in a way. So yeah, they were just like over time, you can overcome that stuff. You can overcome like the things that are both mentally and physically blocking you. If you are genuine about like why do you want, you know, to last longer, or why do you want to, you know, be able to perform? And yeah, I guess external validation and external factors as to why things get done has been very present in sort of my upbringing.
Yeah.
And that was what this was sourced from. And it was always a matter of like wanting to become better so I can give better.
And I imagine like once you had so many different things in your toolkit and different ways to approach intimacy and sex, like the pressure was then removed enough from the erection part of it that like it's just way less stressful for you and you can be more relaxed and present, and then maybe your dick just functions more as you would want it to because you've stopped putting all this pressure and expectation on it.
Yeah. It's like, I need you to be a way that you normally aren't versus like, what have you got?
Yeah. Whatever you got, we'll work with it.
Well, that's it.
I got other things in the tool belt.
And the other one of the tools that you had mentioned, like the communication part, was like, I think one of the biggest reasons as to why people get more trapped in sort of like those prisons is also because it's the lack of communication that is causing them to have their own perception of their own shortcomings.
Yeah.
Shortcomings. Sorry, it's never going to stop. And like, because what it is just like you're receiving information and you're receiving like your education through one-way channels that are there to make you think a certain way. or that make you want to feel a certain way. So you then do this other thing, you know, buy this, read that, like, etc. Like it's a one-way street. And I think when it comes to communication, it's like in all of my stupor, have never met anyone that pointed and laughed at me after it happened, or that didn't, like, you know, arrive with some form of like, oh no, look, like that doesn't matter, we can do other stuff. Or like all of these things where I didn't believe it because I was just so hung up on the, like, this ideology or this like perception that I had of it. And it was just like so drilled in because it was never communicated.
Yeah.
So there were never external.
You hadn't collected any data.
Well,
but once you start talking about it to people that you're sleeping with, you're collecting data, and every time they're like chill about it, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a
like,
big deal.
Well, yeah. And that was like over time realizing that is, if communication is another tool of it. Like going into an experience and saying, hey, this is something I've struggled with my whole life. There is a high likelihood that this will happen, blah, 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 etc. Congratulations. You've got your answer no matter what the response is. If they're like, oh, really? Why would you want to why would you want to give yourself to them anyway?
Like safe person to sleep with.
Exactly. Anyway. But turns out no one is like that, generalization. No one is going to just be like, oh, well, I've wasted my time here already, I'm going to waste less, bye. Like, no, like that's not how things are. Like the other person's probably going through their own things as well. Exactly. And like they're probably...
And they'll appreciate hearing you be vulnerable and upfront about that, and it might give them permission to then share something that they struggle with or that they're insecure about. Yeah. Or, you know, like it's just a permission slip. And if you're courageous enough to like bring up the topic, one, that like shows them a specific kind of confidence that not everyone has, to just own where they're at and be like, hey, this is a thing. I'm cool with it. As long as you're cool with it, I just wanted to give you a heads up. And, you know, it doesn't mean anything about you or how attracted to you I am. This is just something that sometimes happens. It's like that immediately creates more safety for you and your nervous system and your boner. And it's like actually hot for the receiver of that communication to kind of realize that you are able to go there and go to those places of vulnerability and like honesty. It's like so wild to me that fucking more people don't do that, but like we really are not taught that. It's discouraged. And it's like this shameful thing you're meant to hide and figure out ways of dealing with all on your own without, but it's like healing is relational. Sex is relational. You actually need to treat it like a collab and like, you know, the other person might have a piece of the puzzle that you can't possibly provide for yourself. So like, you know, you can do all of this. Like with clients, I'll get them working on their own self-pleasure practice and their breath and their pelvic floor muscles and masturbating in a way that's going to start training their body to last longer and to have more control and more connection to themselves. But like then the next frontier of like healing and growth is like, cool, now what are we going to do when you're in the bedroom with a partner? And then what are the approaches then? And yeah, it's like you can't do one without the other.
And it's wild how important it is. Like that, the first time I went in, I was like, hey, just so you know, here's the thing, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, congratulations, you've removed any surprise. You've like the shame of disappointing someone. It's like, you've managed to almost weed out before it was going to get to the point where it's going to impact you more. Like if they're just like, oh, sorry, I actually don't sleep with anyone that doesn't last at least 4.5 minutes. It's like, okay, cool. Well, you like...
That's good information because I don't want to have sex with you now.
It's like, thank you for the opportunity. I can't do this. It's like, you know, if you're being interviewed and they're like, oh, this position is actually for the CEO. And it's like, fuck no, I can't do that in a way. And like I'm you know, there's always a part of like, you know, fake it till you make it that is true because everyone is faking it in some way, shape or form. If they're doing personal work or if they're into personal growth, there is a part of them that is just like, I really want to be this way. I'm going to try and be this way. Like, yes, there is time and place for that. But I think when it comes to being honest with yourself, being true to yourself and saying, here is what I have to offer, not praying that what you have to offer is different to what you do, and then not being able to deliver, that's where the damage gets done. Because if you just like, you know, don't communicate how things might be, then you don't set expectations correctly, and then you don't meet them from such a further place than you could have been. And then
it's sad.
that's when you'll have experiences being like, oh God, no, like I'm that person in their head now that I didn't want to be. And it's like, yeah, that's because you didn't give them an idea of who you actually were. And that's not a bad thing. Like, who I actually am, you know, insert this is how I am or whatever it is, like, you know, prefacing with that is just like, congratulations. I've made more accurate the version of me in your head purely just through my actions, and that was communication.
And you've involved them, you know, you've let them in, you've taken the pressure off, you've managed expectations. Like, something that I hear from usually women who sleep with men is like, when this sort of thing does happen, maybe they come straight away or they like, you know, struggle with maintaining an erection. It's like kind of common for them to not acknowledge or talk about it and to just sort of pretend like nothing, like, but they clearly feel a lot of shame and they're really uncomfortable and they shut down, but they don't acknowledge or talk about it. And then they kind of put up walls. And then it's like, fuck, well, where does that leave either of them then? It's like a disconnecting, disempowering experience, which could be turned into an empowering, connecting experience if you're both able to actually like talk about it and be like, cool, this thing happened. That's pretty normal. There are ways around this. It's not a big deal. Like, it could be a moment of healing and connection, but so often it's a moment of trauma and like it's just re-triggering this wound and this like this feeling of inadequacy. And yeah, it fucking breaks my heart. It's really unfortunate. Yeah, and a lot of people are actually, like, a lot of guys are getting on like boner pills before, like, in puberty, like before they're even adults and before they've, like, I know people that have only ever had penetrative sex with someone while using them. Yeah. Because it's just, they're so afraid of it not working without them. And then they've set up this kind of relationship with the pills. So it's a reliance and they're like, fuck, like, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even using, say, like, external supplements and stuff, that is the training that you're giving the muscles. You know, it's like, if that is, like, what are you practicing for? You're practicing for requiring external, like, facility to get an erection to start with. You're removing your brain's ability, capacity, and, like, knowledge or experience on how to produce it for yourself. You are effectively just making it so that you need that every time moving forward. Especially, like, so young. Like, that was the thing. Like, my younger developing years was be quick, so you stay hidden and no one ever finds out and knows, and, you know, quick delete the browser history and, like, put this, like, facade up, being like, no, nothing's happening here. Nothing to worry about. Don't, like, whatever it is. But, like, what I was doing was effectively just making it so my brain goes, go. The second it starts.
And associating it with shame and, like, needing to hide, needing to feel like you were doing something wrong. You know, it's just, it's like, it's the water that we're all swimming in, and why I had so much shame around anything to do with sex or nudity or genitals. Like, you know, it was literally just our sort of societal attitudes around it, and that feeling dirty or naughty or bad or shameful. And it's like, whoa, okay, well, if that's your relationship with it, understandably, given, you know, where we grew up, like, how the fuck is your body supposed to relax and enjoy it if, there's so much shame attached to it? And then the added pressure of, you know, performing, and it's just a shit show, honestly. I mean, that's why I do this work, because it's just, we're so up against it.
Well, that's it. And I think we're not even one or at most two generations away from, like, a Western Catholicism, like, enforced society that, you know, premarital sex was the sin. And, like, we're not far from when, like, almost anything to do with, like, physical interrelation was considered a sin. And that someone was always watching you from above and stuff. And, like, those roots are still extremely ingrained, even though there is, like, you know, the devil of, like, capitalism that is, like, marketing is sex. like, hey, sex is in front of you.
Yeah.
Everyone, look how good sex is. Like,
It's just conflicting messages.
Buy this Mars bar, like, you know, it's, like it's like that in itself is conflicting because like the origins of it is like all of it is still in the. So sorry about this.
What?
In the overcoming.
Oh no.
In like overcoming those, I guess, stigmas that are built around it. But at the same case, it's just like I'm like, you know, 15 years out of school. Yeah, about that. Only like 15 years ago. And I've mentioned the education that I got around it. Mm-hmm. It's like society's become extremely individualistic, and my journey has been one that has been completely outside of, you know, all of it was an individual like desire or an individual research or like just this thing that I went through and like almost no external contribution. And like that's we're stripped away from like community in that sense where we
and
are,
like initiation into our bodies and our sexuality and there's literally no.
So I think breaking that wall down is a very honorable and valiant thing, and I think you're doing a wonderful job with it.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, it's it was just like, I blessed the few pieces of like media or whatever it was that like helped along the way, but it was maybe I need to write a book now, or maybe I can just audibly record my journey and help one person, and then
it's actually a common, like your story is common. I mean, you actually have overcome. Now you've got me doing it.
Sorry. That's it. Bit's done.
You've sort of overcome these challenges, and a lot of people sort of still haven't or don't. But like, I've heard this shit so many times. Like it's like a rite of passage. It's fucked. Yeah. And like, I think, you know, that's how you have to figure it out yourself, like with hardly any input other than fucked up like resources online like porn and you know, we don't have anything modeled to us. Anyway, I mean, this is all I talk about this way too much on the podcast, so I'm like bored of talking about it. But you said you had like something you wanted to talk to me about earlier. You were like, there's something I want to.
Oh yeah.
TMI, we love it. Said TMI, we love it.
Have you ever faked an orgasm and why?
Why? Yes, I have faked an orgasm. Mm-hmm. Why? It's probably a few different answers to that. I don't know. I guess as a male, it's probably not the norm to not orgasm. And sometimes you're like, well...
Feel pressure.
Yeah, you feel pressure. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, maybe it's better to just fake it than to be like, hey, this isn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I'll be honest, that was when I was younger. Now I'm kind of like, I'll be honest and just be like, hey, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, nice. I feel like that's pretty relatable. Yeah. Like, a lot of the time you just feel pressure because you don't want the other person to feel like it's them or like you're not into it, or
absolutely
for them to like try even harder to make it happen, and then it just gets even more elusive. And yeah, cool. All right, what other questions have I got? Well, do you have like a TMI story that springs to mind by any chance?
What's TMI?
Too much information, so usually a little bit like, oh, you can't talk about that. I wonder if I've got one off the top of my head as an example.
I feel like I need some poking.
Need some poking.
Well, someone, when I was posting about us setting up in the park today, and I was like, come on down, tell us a TMI story. Oh, actually, I just thought of one that someone sent in. It's pretty graphic. How do you feel about just kind of gross?
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
All for
so, do you know what an IUD is?
Yeah.
So, this poor person had an IUD and just after a while started noticing, like, something a bit off going on down there, and realized that somehow like hair had gotten caught around the sort of string of the IUD and formed like a hairball. Like quite a lot of hair had accumulated and gotten all tangled up, and it just smelt fucking putrid apparently, and she had to get like a friend in there to like snip off this like gunked up hairball that was wrapped around her IUD string. And I was like, so what... Was it like pubes that had gotten like shoved in there during sex? Was it like, and she was like, oh, I think it was like, you know, you have a shower and your head hair sort of slides down your back and into your crack. And then maybe you've got some hair in your crack and then you have sex and it gets pushed into your vag. And then maybe it gets tied around and then it just becomes this. And I was like, fucking hell. Never heard of that happening. Imagine that. That just sounds mortifying. And like, props to her friend that got on in there and sorted it out for her.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So that's an example of a TMI story.
Yeah, no, that's great. Obviously not my story, but a friend told me a story. I don't know if I should relay it in case they listen to it.
I have a pretty small listener base.
All right.
Full disclosure. They probably won't listen to it, but it's anonymous anyway.
Yeah. All right. So I won't say any names, but anyway. They smuggled in drugs into a music festival.
Okay.
By putting it inside them.
Nice.
And then...
Vag or butthole?
Vag. Mm-hmm. Went to get it out. Couldn't find him.
Oh.
Started freaking out. Called their friends into the toilet, like porta potty toilet in the festival.
Yep.
And apparently, like, she got in there and was like, I can feel it, but it's like right up there.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, there ended up being 3 people in this cubicle with their legs on either side of side of the porta potty. They're all like having a go, trying to get up there, and like, we can all feel it, but we can't quite get to it.
Dude.
And then she started freaking out, like, I've got to go to hospital. Like, you know, there's drugs inside me. What's going to happen?
Was it wrapped in like a condom or something?
I'm pretty sure it would have been wrapped in something, but I'm not 100% sure. You would assume so,
Yeah.
but she started freaking out anyway.
Yeah.
And then, so they left the festival, but there's no pass out. So they had to spill the beans to the security guard. And the security guard's like pissed himself laughing. Like,
Okay.
Go to hospital, I'll let you back in.
Oh my God. Yay. Go security guard.
Got back to the hospital and, so I got to the hospital and the doctor or nurse or whatever was like, there's no drugs inside of you. That's the first thing. That's good. But like, you've grabbed onto your IUD and it's like been pulled down. We need to get you into like, basically surgery to remove it.
Oh my God.
Because like, she was also in like a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I had the drugs, not the drugs, the
Holy
IUD,
fuck.
thinking
People
it was
having
the
a yank
drugs,
on it.
trying to yank it down. And yeah, she had to get that removed because it was pulled halfway down from
Oh my God.
thinking it was the drugs.
But where were the drugs?
Oh, she just like peed them out or something.
What? How did they come out of her vag without her noticing?
I don't know. Like, I feel like she's probably gone to the toilet and then realised, oh, there's drugs inside me, I'm going to take them out. I can't remember that part of the story.
Okay, far out.
Yeah.
That?
Or maybe they were already drunk and high and just
Yeah, no, that's
didn't
true.
realise, but...
Oh my God, that was an epic one, dude.
Yeah. So,
and like very relatable. I was like, I'm going to tell this one. It's probably not going to prompt anything from you though, because how likely is it that you're going to have an IUD story? But that was epic.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Far out. That's mortifying. Because I've had friends that have had IUDs kind of accidentally lodged in like really painful ways, half in, half out, and it happened to you, didn't it? No, not you.
No.
Okay, never mind. Oh no, that was some abortion tissue.
Yeah.
Oh fuck that. Yeah, that was awful. Anyway, vaginas, hey, fun times. All right, one more question.
Yeah.
What are your non-negotiables in the bedroom?
Non-negotiables? Is it... I don't know if I have any.
That's fair. Or it could be like in a relationship as well, like maybe just things that you're like, absolutely, this does not fly with me and I will not settle for anything other than this, or yeah, a boundary of yours is this. If anything springs to mind.
I don't know. I can't think of any.
Everything goes.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty... like... I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's quite what you're getting at, but I guess, like, non-sexual, just, like, relationship or kind of thing is just an understanding of independence, different lives, like, not attached to the hip. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's boring. It's not sexual,
But that's still a really valuable thing that a lot of people would relate to, I think, is just like wanting to have a good amount of autonomy and space and not get too merged that, you know, there's nothing left to kind of miss.
And being able to do things on your own without like any kind of animosity or jealousy of like, why aren't you doing that with me?
Yeah. It's a good one. All right, sick. What are some things, if there is something you can think of, that people have said to you during sex that you've really liked because it was either really hot or it was really hilarious? Or like you just really liked that they said it or did it because it made you feel comfortable?
Jeez, I don't know.
Do you like a bit of a high five when you guys are doing well, or?
I mean, I'm all about sex should be fun and funny and silly and like, I don't know, when something happens, like you laugh at it.
Totally.
Or like, if someone's like, that was really good, high five, it's like, sure. Like, I don't know, I just think people take sex way too seriously.
Yep, agreed.
When it should be fun and silly and you should be able to have a laugh at things that happen or...
Yeah, go on.
So I was in Guatemala and we were on the beach and I was going down on and a security guard pops up out of nowhere with a torch. Shines it on us and just kind of looked at us and we're like, oop. So we got up and moved, 20 metres down the beach, got back into the same thing, and then the security guard pops up again, shines a torch at us.
Well, the same one?
Same one. And we're like, oop. Same thing, we moved like 20 metres down the beach, and then this time we started having sex. And the security guards popped up out of nowhere and just shined the torch. I was like, it was Spanish and said something to us in Spanish. My Spanish at the time wasn't amazing, but I'm pretty sure I got the gist of what he said. And then we picked up and left. And...
Sorry. Security guard? Sounds like a perv. I think it was following you.
Probably.
Fuck yeah.
So that was funny. We had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Awesome.
Dope. I've gone through with, thinking I had anxiety for how much I think in life, and then that shifted to, I guess, oh, maybe I'm depressed because I'm only I'm stuck in this cycle of my potential and what I'm not doing and all of this stuff. And then I guess later on that translated into, having ADHD, which I got diagnosed for because I couldn't, I was being detrimentally, I don't know. I was just being negatively impacted by my ability to get things done or do things without being distracted and all this stuff. And I heard a term yesterday. It was moral scrupulosity OCD. So moral OCD, which is a new one for me, but effectively it connects almost the habits of ADHD, this perfectionism that I have for myself, and the moral issues of not being a certain way or being over analytical of morals in anything. How is someone going to receive this? What am I over analyzing about their behaviors right now, and what image am I painting over that? So I just wanted to know if you'd heard that term before.
Moral scrupulosity.
Yeah, I think...
Is scrupulosity a word?
Yeah, I know, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I haven't heard of that. I mean, I was going to ask you if you've looked into OCD or anything like that.
Well, I've got maybe 45 minutes under my belt now since yesterday, so... it was... I was reading through a lot of it, and it was here are some of the common signs, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It is me. And it's quite interesting as well, though, because I've always had this perception of righteousness and being a certain way and how I need to be in certain situations, which through recent self-assessment and reflection was my sort of environment that I was brought up in, with space taking, or the opposite for me, which was shrinking down to fit in a certain way, depending on what sort of reactions or responses were happening around me, which developed this moral code of like being what is required for something or being right, you know, and then that translates to over justification during conflicts, or like translates to not being yourself. I think we've circled back to what we were talking about when we first started this, of like not being able to do something without thinking about the like the righteousness or the repercussions, or like, oh, what are the flow-on effects of this? Like nothing is present because there's always like this
assessment of
it's like this obsessive compulsive energy dump into trying to just fucking get the dishes done, or like how to be in a conversation, or you know, what's the right question to ask rather than respond to something that's been said, you know. Like the reason I was going to bring it up was because like, I was just like, I started looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, maybe a puzzle piece for the one that I have. But yeah, I just wanted to know if you had any information about that.
No.
It's a good one. I like it. I think
though that like subtypes or forms of OCD are like probably far more common than we've realized. And like the more I learn about it and talk to people about it, the more I'm like, oh, heaps of people, especially people who are neurodivergent. Like it's just so all of these things are often found in the same, you know, little cluster, and can be misdiagnosed or mistaken for symptoms of other types.
Yeah.
Excuse this quick interruption. I'm shamelessly seeking reviews and 5-star ratings for the potty because, as I'm sure you've noticed by now, it's pretty fab, and the more people who get to hear it, the more people I can help with it. Reviews and ratings actually do make a big difference to this little independent podcaster, and it's really easy to just quickly show your support by taking that simple act of either leaving 5 stars for the show on Spotify, or even better, writing a written review and leaving 5 stars over on Apple Podcasts. Or if you're a real overachiever, you can do them both. That would be mad. If you're writing a review, though, just be sure to use G-rated words, because despite the fact that this is a podcast about sexuality, words like sex can be censored and your review won't make it through the gates. Lame. Anyway, I would personally recommend doing that right now while you remember, just to get on top of it and let me know you're with me on this journey. Thanks, gang. Enjoy the rest of the epi.
Yeah, like I mentioned into that segue, I was just like, I thought it was this, thought it was that, thought it was this. But I guess like the crux of it is like the underlying developed character that I am, or like, you know, the experiences that I've had, which have culminated into me. But yeah, no, because like, my understanding of OCD was always just the behavioral, like, which I realized me having to check that I close the garage door 7 times before I leave, to the point where like I'll get halfway down my street and I'll reverse because I'll be like, I know I've checked, but I'm just fucking compelled to like go back and make sure. And it takes that 7th time for me to like stop the noise around me confirming that it has been closed.
7 is fucking, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah, well,
7
it's like
times.
3 as I'm driving down the long driveway, and then like 1 as I'm like turning out, and then the thought about it halfway down, and then reversing. Just to be like, okay, it's done. And like without, I guess, professional diagnosis, or just without me having researched it, like I said, it was only something that came to me yesterday.
I actually had a strange, so like, because it shows up in so many different ways in different people, and like, and it fluctuates. It's like sometimes it'll be really intense at periods of your life, maybe where you're under more pressure or you're feeling more stressed or anxious or whatever, and then other times it's like quieter. And as a kid, it's often like more intense. And I feel like there's so many ways that it can show up that like you wouldn't associate with OCD. Like you think of like switching the light on and off 3 times, or, you know, turning the tap on and off.
That was the behavioral, my understanding of like what it was.
Yeah. And there's like heaps of stuff, like as I'm learning that, you know, maybe externally doesn't appear to be an OCD related thing, but it's like all coming from that place.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I wasn't going to say anything except you brought up OCD, but, and I don't know why exactly I sort of had an inkling, but I wanted to talk to you about it at some point, because I actually had the thought of like OCD at one point when I was hanging out with you. I was like, oh, I wonder if there's like some little thing going on there. It might have been like a certain mannerism or like, and I don't want you to like be like, oh my God, what? Like, holy fuck, do I seem like I have OCD? Like, you know, I don't want you to feel insecure about anything like at all.
Oh, yeah.
But because I think about this stuff a lot and I talk to a lot of people, you know, like it's just on my mind, and I'm probably a little bit more like perceptive of these things than the average person. And I recently listened to a podcast that was really great. There was 2, like a man and a woman, both talking about their own OCD and how it showed up when they were kids and how it shows up now, and so diverse. And I was like, oh my God, wow, this is super interesting. Like, I think this probably is way more common than people think, and like often misdiagnosed. And yeah, like I feel like that's that's an interesting angle to start like looking into, because I wonder if there's ways to manage it that would have a really positive impact on your productivity, or you know, like
that sentence itself, like every word that you just said in that last little bit is like where I'm looking toward now.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like,
because it takes up so much fucking capacity and brain space, and it's like it gets in the way, and it's an unnecessary, it's like not rational. It's not like all the things, the little habits, the little compulsive routines and sequences that, you know, people can get into, like have fucking no purpose. They just drain you, and like it becomes exhausting and detracts from your ability to, you know, have capacity for other things and be present and whatever. And there's this concept in a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Damn, I wish I could remember the author's last name so I could sound smart right now. John something. I can't remember either.
But there's this concept at the start of the book before they dive into what the habits are, called like paradigms. And there is habits, which, you know, are based on the paradigm that you have. And paradigm's a collection of like beliefs and approaches and tools and almost everything that goes into your approach to something. And the reason that I bring it up without losing myself, let alone you, is they gave this really great example about understanding what a paradigm is. And the example was, let's say you're in Melbourne, and let's say you are trying to get to a certain place, and you have a map in front of you, and it says Melbourne at the top, but it's a map of Sydney. No matter how you are, no matter how positive your attitude, no matter how like persevering, another one for the book, no matter like who you are as a person, if your paradigm's wrong, if you have a map for somewhere else, no matter how much effort you put into something, you won't get to the place. So like this concept of like, oh, I've just learnt about this term, I'm going to like start looking into it. It's like that journey and that like almost like branching out into being like, oh wait, maybe it is this, is almost like, oh, congratulations, like you're getting closer to having an accurate map, which I believe is separate to like this whole personality thing. Because like I said, you know, from the start, it's just like I'm this like positive person that like thinks about experience and other people's experiences, and like I'm always trying to like improve them or make them better and whatnot. It's like, congratulations. If your map's wrong, then you're gonna have your own struggles. Like you're gonna have these things that like detract you away from who you are or who you could be, or like all these things. Or maybe the paradigm of the who you could be is part of my map that's wrong, because like just care less. Just maybe put your focus on like being the you that you are as like best or as much as you can. You know, like just all these like weird things that now I'm just like, okay, cool. Like new term for me to look into. But yeah, I guess OCD is a new one and an interesting one for me, which I guess until I look into its impacts or its outcomes a bit more, like obviously I could, like, it's pretty easy for me to like highlight things in my life where I've been like that, of like anything that has a label has to be facing me, or like any, I guess, object that I had with a face growing up a lot, it was toys and stuff. Like each of them had to have a personality that aligned to like how they looked and stuff. So like there were just like all of these, you know, just really like I live in my imagination, but it's really big apparently. It's a big scary place. Not scary, it's dark, but yeah, just like it takes, I guess, also a lot of energy to operate in a world that's like that. When so much of your thought is almost infinitely expansive. No wonder you can't be doing those things that you think it's ADHD that's stopping you. It's like, energy is a finite resource, although it's not. But...
Well, and your attention and your focus, if it's being dragged and detracted, like if you're being pulled in these different directions because you're distracted by whether the labels are facing the right way or whether you've, you know, you have less left over to actually focus on the important things than being a productive human. And like it's sort of, it's just a bit of a drainer. Yeah. And it has no meaning. I think that's the thing with like OCD. Not that I'm an expert at all, but I remember, you know, these people on the podcast talking about it. It's like none of it, all the shit that becomes compulsive, that they feel the compulsion to do lest something terrible happens, is like so inconsequential. None of it's actually important. It's like totally like irrational and has no sort of like, and it's like just this really annoying little itch that they need to constantly scratch. But actually, like if they don't, nothing bad happens. There's just this like sort of circuit that keeps them in the loop, feeling as though if they don't do it, something bad will happen. But I think it is like it collectively, it sounds like it's going to shed some light or understanding on like my relationship with deadlines and the, like, again, like, not to like be like, oh, all the compulsion to like, you know, just bringing it up, but even the figurative concept of a deadline itself is like, if it's not met, nothing bad happens. Like what you had just said sort of sparked that, which was like, oh, you know, like the compulsive behaviors or the habits that had formed, and it's like, if the thing doesn't happen, you know, the world doesn't explode. I hear is like, you know, that is a bit of a boomer term when, you know, my idea of what OCD is in that sense of like, you know, flicking the light switch 3 times. It's like, you know, nothing catches on fire. If it doesn't, in a way, yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it's like one of those things where, for me, like I'll take this concept of deadlines. Always did homework in high school the morning of. Like I would fake write a rough draft at like 5 a.m. I'd purposefully put mistakes in and correct it with red pen because we had to hand them in. Like that's a draft.
Yeah, I'd write a draft and I would have a red pen next to me, and every maybe however correct I felt it to be would make a mistake and then correct it, so it looked like I proofread my work and stuff. Wow. Like that. Like that's how deep it went for me. But I would then go to school 30 minutes early and I'd print it off. And then I'd hand in a typed copy with the rough draft that I created.
Because you had to give a draft with your work.
Yeah, we had to give a rough draft with our work. But yeah, like to the extent of like that is how, I guess, analytical or in-depth I'd go about it. I'd be like, oh, I know that there has to be mistakes here, so I'm going to put them in myself or whatever it is.
Wow.
But the horror, one day when I got to school and the library was closed in the morning for some reason and I couldn't type out and print off this like good copy. And it was like first period, we had to hand it in. And this dread that I felt. And I was like, no, this like, I was like overwhelmed by it. Guess what? I just said my printer broke and I handed it in like a day later.
Yeah, fuck. So, it just sounds so stressful. It just sounds like with all these things, OCD, perfectionism, like it's just, you put so much fucking pressure on yourself. Yeah. And it sounds awful. Like, just fucking Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer.
It's really funny as well though, because like that concept of, the example that I just bring up and then applying it to like my life today, with the line of work that I do and the reports that need to be submitted, it's like the translation of it is like, I have no goal and I have no just ambition or desire to get one of these reports done until like the deadline's almost as far away as it would take me to get it done. Like it's almost
an
like
ADHD thing.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah, but it's the same concept of like if it doesn't get handed in, like then at most like a day or two later I'll get a message being like, hey, is this one done? And I say, oh, almost.
Yeah.
For the rare time that it actually does go over the time frame. But like what I'm looking forward to diving into a bit more is like that concept of like the ebb and flow of the pressure that it builds, and that it is figurative in the sense that like, yes, to an exaggerated extent, like it's not a life or death situation. It is facetious in the sense that I believe business is made up and whatever, but yeah, it's like, there's not like a big log attached to the roof by ropes that's gonna like release the second the deadline goes off that's aimed at my head or whatever.
It's almost like you care so much, but the care is misplaced.
Yeah.
On the wrong outcome. Like it's unrealistic. It's like you're almost preparing for the worst again and again without realizing like, oh, actually that's unrealistic. That's not going to happen. Like the worst case scenario is very rarely reality. And like there's a disproportionate amount of like anxiety. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting because I don't have that.
Yeah.
That saying, I don't have that. I mean, I have all sorts of other weird and wonderful things going on in my brain, but like, yeah, I know as a kid, and because like all of these things are exacerbated by dysregulation, nervous system stress, like fucking hardship, like all of this, like I feel like it flares up when things are going badly and you're under a lot of stress or pressure. And then other times when things are coasting, these like symptoms will kind of like reduce.
Yeah.
As a kid, I had like definitely, now looking back, like all of the hallmarks of someone with OCD. Like I would turn the tap on and off 3 times. I would do the light switch. I would like click my teeth in a pattern to a rhythm, and it had to be even numbers or odd numbers. The
classic TV volume has to be.
I was just about to say
TV volume has to be a multiple of 2 or on a 5.
Oh
/0.
my God. Yeah. So all of these things, and it's like so interesting because I remember it never got to the level where it was like really diverting me. Like it wasn't causing me too much angst, but it was definitely like a bit annoying. And I remember at one point thinking like, fuck, like, is this going to go away? Like, is this me? Is this my life? Am I always going to do this weird thing with my teeth or count numbers in my, it was definitely like detracting from me being able to just live my fucking life. And I think it must have just like disappeared on its own. I don't remember, but like, I definitely don't do those things anymore. But sometimes like little things will reappear. And I think it's like if I'm under a lot of pressure or stress and stuff, like those little habits might sneak back in. Yeah. But I wouldn't, I mean, I don't really identify, I don't think I really identify with OCD these days. And there's so much overlap, like all these sensory sensitivities that I had as a kid, that could be, I mean, I know a lot of people close to me have ADHD and are very convinced that I'm also ADHD. Because of like, how I used to always hate the feeling of the seam on the end of my sock, and I would like pull my sock like loose up off my foot and then fold it back over my foot and then put my foot in the shoe so that the seam wasn't touching me. And I just thought that, it's just a normal thing. And my friend's like, oh my God, yeah, no, I did that too, babe. That's the autism. That's the tism.
Yeah.
Or like, that's the ADHD. Like,
but also like your vibe attracts your tribe. So if they are your friends, and there are most likely overlaps in personality traits and stuff.
For sure.
With like these concepts as well, like the ADHD stuff, I feel like, and this is me being, what's the term? Being a real Jimbo. But like, they're, like you've said, it's like, no, like just kind of like, just dumb about it.
Is
but
that
like,
Jimbo? It's like a himbo. Like a man bimbo?
Maybe, yeah.
I'd heard himbo, but not Jimbo.
Oh, no, I was just like, when they say like, oh yeah, it's a real gym, like, I don't know. Kind of like, so not insensitive in a way, but it's like, this concept of, like you've mentioned, it's like, oh, I used to do all these things, but I think you said like, I don't like
identify with having OCD.
Identify with having it. It's just like identification comes with its negative impacts on your life, I think.
Well, also, I don't feel like it has any negative impacts on my life nowadays.
Which is why you don't identify as with it, in the sense of like someone with ADHD that is just in this environment where it makes them thrive, they'll never even contemplate or, consider that they have it. Just because it's just, there is an alignment there. So I think when unalignment is the forefront of it, the, I guess, purpose of diagnosis, or the purpose of like looking into it or researching it, is understanding it to a point that you are equipped to reduce the negative impacts. Like for me at the moment, it's just like, was being negatively impacted by what felt like ADHD symptoms, got diagnosed, run through, I think, 3 or 4 different types of like medical things, like just different medications and stuff. And it was like, none of these are doing anything for me. I mean, my past life probably reduced their efficacy on me, but it was just like, okay, cool. And since then, that would have been maybe like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Since then, it's just been like almost a brute force of like my own mentality, and trying to like quite literally just like not yell at myself, but just like tell myself that I'm not doing something, or that like I'm like becoming aware of when it was starting and stuff, like just being like, oh, like opening a new tab up to like go to like YouTube, and then just like grabbing my hand and then closing it and being like, no, not now. And then that happening for a span of 5 minutes where I just automatically do this thing to like take myself away from what I'm doing, and being like, no, like, so like, I guess, my focus now will be, understanding what the driving factors of like the moral OCD stuff is. Because I guess perception of OCD is things have to be a very particular way, or things need to be done in a very particular way. And I guess applying morals to every decision, element, or like interaction in your life goes back to the like that, utilization of like mental energy, which is probably why when it comes to pursuing something or like doing something for the self, like there's nothing there for it. Like there's like, like I said, I was like, for 13 years I've said, like, I really want to produce music. And then I did nothing about it. And every time I like went to it, or like, all of the time that I've had to do it, like not once was I just like, all right, cool, I'm going to dive in now. It's kind of just like, I'm kind of drained.
I mean, the world is literally up against us, draining the fuck out of us at every moment that we're existing. So, like, I definitely don't think, like, we're always to blame for not being proactive about starting to learn a new skill or being productive all the time. Like, I think we're really, really, really up against it. So,
yeah. And, of course, like, with access to, like, social media, it's like, just, like, comparison is, like, one of the hardest things to avoid these days.
And it's just such a killer. Like, you don't even want to get started when you're like, oh, I'll never be that fucking good. Like, it's going to take me that long to get to that level.
Yeah.
Like,
but I think it sort of develops a bad relationship with ambition and desire because like you're comparing yourself to the person that does do those things, and you're already saying like, oh, I'm not as good as them. It's like, they don't exist.
Yeah.
They are you, like you are them. Like that's where before when I was like, fake it till you make it does have a place in like personal growth and like self-development, because it's like the desire to grow is to be more than you are, and like the way to be more than you are is to like do it until you can, or like I mean, there are many ways to go about it, some more effective than others. Thinking about it for 13 years, you know, while extremely planned and a great baseline of, you know, terminology or glossary that I've looked into for 13 years, like, sure, that'll benefit me, but not as much as doing it for 1 year would have. Like, you know, the ebb and flow of like, can sit and think about something and, you know, capitalize when the time's right and pursue when it feels natural to is, at the moment for me, 13 times more effort than what doing it would have resulted in. And it's definitely outcomes based, because what's my desire? I want to be able to make a song. I'll start there. We'll add good to the sentence eventually, but that requires time and skill. But yeah, we'll see what maybe a paradigm shift into understanding OCD and its implications and impacts. Yeah, but I've been looking for a therapist / psychologist because it's 2026 and it's the year of doing, etc. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like I don't know. I've always just like spoken like it was therapy. The way that I talk about things is like really holistic and conscious and and whatnot. So I sure hope I win. Hope I win therapy when I find a therapist. Like,
I hope you find a good one that can actually challenge you and show you new insights. Like, I think that's the tricky thing. It's like we're pretty verbally, emotionally intelligent people. So it's like I haven't actually found a therapist so far that helped or that could offer me anything. So I talk all the fucking time about everything to like heaps of friends that are also very emotionally aware. It's like I need a therapist that's like an absolute weapon to fucking show me some shit.
It's it was funny the conversations that I had with my partner around just everything. Like, this is the way that I talk, like the way that I describe things is how it's normally done. And over the last little bit of my journey of like overcoming these like, you know, negative impacts through like whether it be like ADHD or like the, I guess, uncovering of childhood traumas or experiences that then influence how things get done. Like it's all there, it's all out, and it's all been like at least acknowledged. And then my partner turns to me one day and goes, yeah, but you know it, so like just don't do it or do it differently or like change it. And it's so funny to me because it is all there. And like the reason why things happen outside of your control is, I would say, because you aren't aware of them or you don't know.
Well, I mean, awareness is the first step, but then actually changing.
That's what I mean, yeah.
What's behind the behaviors, that's like, oh.
Yeah, and like, you know, I look through my experience of like aware of how something is, do something to change it, versus aware of how something is, don't. Like, you know, the sexual confidence in that experience was like, I can't have it this way. Something compelled me because of the importance that I gave it in life. When nothing else brings that out of me. Like, obviously the music producing thing, I was just like,
the pain point wasn't large enough to get you moving.
Yeah, and like I will then align that to, you know, this like the childhood trauma stuff that I have acknowledged or like sort of not resurfaced in a way, like, oh, it's back. More so just being aware of the way that I am now and what may have influenced that from when I was being brought up was like, my parental guidance was given in a way of like, you have to do this way, or else bad thing will happen. You have to get a good job, be secure, or else garbage man. You can't do this because that's wrong. Like, all of these things were never about me building the decision-making framework that was backed by reason.
And like following their own intuition.
Yeah. So then I acknowledge that, and I realize the external validation necessity when it comes to me having weight behind something that needs to be done. Someone asked me, "Oh, I need some help with this." It's like, congratulations, you're about to get the best version of that thing that you've just said. You couldn't even fathom. Like, you know, the whole sexual experiencing, I feel like the desire or the passion was because it involved someone else and it involved what they got. And then it comes to this like personal desire or something that I think that would be really good for me and that would be like fulfilling and enjoyable and like aligns with things that I love and who I am as a person. 13 fucking years of like, wow, that would be nice. Like, just so.
I'm the same. Same.
So yeah, it's like, it's just funny where like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I probably will need a pretty kick-ass therapist. I didn't even think of that as a concept now that I'm actually doing something about trying to find one.
Oh, yeah. They're not all made equal.
Yeah.
And it's got to be compatible with you and your needs.
Yeah.
It's a big barrier.
Which is funny because there's this part of me hearing that inside that is like almost like compelled to be defeated by that, because the concept of me after being how I am for how long I've been how I am, which is forever, I guess like the effort into getting to the point where I am now of like, I'm gonna find one. That was like enough of a hurdle in that sense. But it's like, again, my own journey now is like, I'm aware of that, and that happened in me right now, and I'm conscious of the fact. And now I'm also like kind of glad that I am becoming how I am becoming, because part of me was also just like, just keep trying then. Just keep going. Just keep finding one.
Great.
Yeah. So things improve.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of thinking about it for 13 years. No, it's just like, yeah, it's generally, you know, repetitive. Like something I said before that was just like physical improves through repetition, mental improves through experience. Which I think, yeah, like kind of makes sense in the sense that like you can only make your muscles bigger by repetitively lifting heavy things, but you can't but you could make them grow faster by having an understanding or a knowledge of like the experience of how to like gain muscle or like technique or form and stuff. But it's like, you can't make your muscles bigger by thinking about them being bigger.
Well, you kind of can.
I saw something the other day that was like, it was what was it? It was like people that visualize themselves lifting weights gain muscle at a faster rate or something. Yeah, I guess my perception of that point that I came up with 40 minutes ago is just already out of the water. I thought it sounded cool though, which I tend to about how I say things. But yeah.
Yeah, you said it with such authority.
Hey, sometimes you fake it till you make it. Boom! Third time I've said that today. Yeah, I haven't researched or gone into like ADHD too much myself. But yeah, like I'm excited. Yeah, it might be.
Have you listened to
quite fruitful.
The episodes I've done about autism and ADHD?
Yes, I did listen. The one of them was I can't remember their name, but their introduction had like 15 like qualifications.
Oh, was it recent?
It was a recent one. Yeah.
Well, there's like a couple. I think I would have sent them to you that are like just like this, like with a friend chatting.
Yeah.
And she's so fucking intelligent and self-aware and so good at articulating her experience. And like, she was diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and like it became like her special interest. And so those chats are really cool, because it's like me actually just asking her about her experience in like different little aspects of her life and how it plays out and how it shows up and what it's like. And it's really interesting because I feel like those ones, people have been like, oh, listening to that made me realize, like made me go, oh my God, I relate to that. Oh my God, I relate to, oh wow, okay, I do that too. Oh, and it was like helpful for people. And I was like, maybe like 3 of those. Could be interesting because she's really informed as well. So she talks about her experience, but also the actual facts about it. Yeah, because there's like multiple types of ADHD that present in different ways and differently for different genders. It's like about the dopamine noradrenaline balance, and like it often gets misdiagnosed as depression and anxiety if there's like a low dopamine, high noradrenaline type of ADHD, which she thinks like maybe I've got that. It's just interesting, but it's also just a framework, and like
that's it.
Everyone's fucking neurodivergent.
Well, I mean,
all the cool people.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I guess they're relatable.
G'day, gang. I want to share a resource from my friends at Safe Bay, a youth and survivor-led organisation in the US working to prevent sexual violence among young people. They just launched something called Vibe Check. It's a free, fully anonymous, self-guided tool for anyone who's wondering if they, or even if a friend, might have crossed a boundary or caused harm. It helps you think things through without judgment and points you toward real next steps and resources. You can check it out at checkyourvibe.org, and I've linked it in the show notes as well because I really, truly believe in this resource, and I think it's an incredible tool that I'm so glad somebody has created, and they haven't used any AI in the creation of this. It's all come from real experience and knowledge that they've been collating for years and years as an organisation from students and survivors. So please go check it out, send it to someone you know with teenagers, somehow get it in front of, in particular, the young boys in your world. And if you haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking out Safe Bay and my previous podcast episode that we've done around sexual violence prevention in schools and universities.
Hey, me again. If you'd like to support the potty and you've already given it 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening on, I want to mention that you can buy some really dope merch from the website and get yourself a Labia Lounge tote, tee, togs. Yep, you heard that right. I even have Labia Lounge bathers. Or a cute fanny pack if that'd blow your hair back. So if fashion isn't your passion though, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee donation page, which is actually called Buy Me a Soy Chai Latte, because I'll be the first to admit I'm a bit of a Melbourne cafe tosser like that. And yes, that is my coffee order. You can do a once-off donation or an ongoing membership and sponsor me for as little as 3 fat ones a month. And I also offer one-on-one coaching and online courses that'll help you level up your sex life and relationship with yourself and others in a really big way. So every bit helps because it ain't cheap to put out a sweet podcast into the world every week out of my own pocket. So I will be undyingly grateful if you support me and my biz financially in any of these ways. And if you like, I'll even give you a mental BJ with my mind from the lounge itself. Saucy. I'll pop the links in the show notes. Thank you. Later. And that's it, darling hearts. Thanks for stopping by the Labia Lounge. Your bum groove in the couch will be right where you left it, just waiting for you to sink back in for some more double L action next time. If you'd be a dear and subscribe, share this episode, or leave a review on iTunes, then you can pat yourself on the snatch because that's a downright act of sex-positive feminist activism, and you'd be supporting my vision to educate, empower, demystify and destigmatize with this here podcast. I'm also always open to feedback, topic ideas that you'd love to hear covered, questions or guest suggestions, so feel free to get in touch via my website or over on Insta. You can also send me in TMI stories to be shared anonymously on the pod. My handle is freyagraph_the Labia Lounge. If my account hasn't been deleted for being too sex positive, which, is always a possibility with censorship. But just in case the chronic censorship finally does obliterate my social channels, I'd highly recommend going and joining my mailing list and snagging yourself some fun freebies for the trouble at www.freyagraph.com/freebies. Anyway, later labial legends. See you next time.